point?
Up Connors Road,
Further out past us.
yeah, up past the school,
Past the school on the left,
on the right,
on the right. Oh, where they're doing all the clearing and all that stuff?
yeah,
That's it, okay.
yeah.
Because, all this stuff in there, in the proposed change here about not disturbing so much land and not cutting down trees, they've already done it. That place looks like it's a battlefield.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Gentlemen,
Hey, there he is.
how are
I
you?
didn't see you over there.
Sorry,
Welcome back.
I just washed my hands, so that's why.
All right.
Hi, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
No, that's all right, don't come.
Okay.
Whoa, who-
My first meeting,
yeah.
I had my first case of COVID.
Oh, boy.
3 years, didn't have 2 days, 3 days before.
Hey, what?
meeting.
Well, tell me your name again.
It's Doug
Doug.
Lang,
Doug Lang.
L-A-N-G, Doug Lang.
Okay. Thanks, Doug. Well, welcome to the group. Where
Thank you, sir.
do you live here in Villa Rica?
So, on South Carroll Road,
Where?
I'm right here. So South Carroll
Uh-huh.
Road and Spring Street,
Uh-huh.
you know, the church,
Uh-huh.
I'm diagonally across from that, a little blue house,
Oh,
right on the corner of South Carroll Road.
You're
Okay,
the
well,
only
cool.
house that's not a business.
yeah.
Yes, we've got.
You're closer than we are.
The tax attorney, we've got the chiropractor, we've got that. You know,
Dentists.
but that's if you're in a mixed use zone, then
Yeah, yeah.
that's what you got. At least there's no tire manufacturing plant next to us, you know?
True.
It's okay.
The clock on the wall says it's 6 o'clock, and I will call this
Ron.
meeting to order. We get everybody settled here. Welcome to the meeting. This is the biggest turnout we've had in quite a while, so we're glad you're here. We have a quorum. I got a notice from Dave Rogers, so he has an excused absence tonight, but we still have 4 members, so we're good to go. Now, before we adopt the agenda, we've got 2 items on there that have already been moved to the April meeting. I would like to suggest that we move item B3 also to April, unless you have some further information, Ron.
Yeah, I agree. Item B3 also, and I believe a lot of members of the public are here for that item. Can everyone hear me on here? Looks like it's not.
I can, but I don't know if it's the microphone or.
Yeah,
So we're gonna postpone item 3 until April?
That's the request of the developer at this time. We've been, there's a little bit of story here. So we've met with the HOA, the city. The city has met with the developer as well on multiple occasions. We have also received a letter from the HOA as well, giving a strong recommendation for the city to pursue these different actions that we're looking to do. Primarily around this PUD application and the concept plan and getting the different improvements out there in all 5 units of the development that were required all along. I mean, again, these are not new things. A lot of things when we first approached the commission, some of them were new requests that we didn't have as requirements in 2006. But since that time, we've talked with the HOA, which primarily wants signs, subdivision signs for both entrances, which the developer did agree. We were able to get him to agree to supply those signs for the HOA. He has also agreed, as of today, if you will, he agreed to provide landscaping at the retention ponds and along Connors Road as well, which was very much needed, as we know. The difference between January and today, and we can't go into too much detail as far as, because I don't want to prejudice the application, being that the applicant is not here, but just in the ability to give or provide an update to you all. The applicant, the HOA, and the city staff met. We were able to come up with a list of things. The city started off with our list that we presented in January. They came back to us with a revised list of about 12 different items. They were somewhat middle ground items for the most part, but a lot of them dealt with critical things to a development, right? We're talking open space, density, lot width, etc., just the basics of zoning. And we were able to agree to the vast majority of those items, which is excellent, which is great. A lot of them we landed on independently, which were the same figures, which was great. But there's, as of today at least, in speaking with the attorney for the applicant, it appears that there's still some issues that need to be worked out in relation to the landscaping in the front. So I don't have unfortunately, I don't have much more detail than that. We've been trying to get in touch with the applicant all day. We've been working through his attorney as he prefers, and his attorney's been trying to get in touch with him. So unfortunately, I don't have any more information than just knowing that we were very close to having an agreement today. We came very, very close, but unfortunately, we haven't, however many unknowns out there that need to still be squashed, apparently.
Well, I received your addendum to the agenda late this afternoon. I have not had a chance to review it. I don't know whether other commissioners have or not. But because of that, because the developer is not here, I really recommend we move that item to April.
Mr. Chairman, based on the input from staff, Mr. Johnson, I hereby move that we table and move item 3 to the April meeting.
Second.
It's
Second.
been moved and seconded. Any further discussion by the commissioners? Do you have any comments, Ron? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So item B3 then is moved.
I was waiting on us to do the agenda, so.
So now you go back to old
We
business.
skipped a little bit out of order here, it looks like, this evening. So sorry about that. We have to actually call the meeting to order.
Oh, yes, we
Yeah,
did.
we did.
You were standing over
You were
there.
talking.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. We didn't. Our secretary didn't catch that.
No, we called the meeting to order. We talked about the commissioner that's
minutes.
been excused.
The agenda and minutes? Oh, where are they? Okay.
Well, we just are at the point of adopting the agenda that we just changed.
Yeah.
And we've approved that unanimously. So the agenda is approved.
Hey, he's got his question, John.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't want to interrupt them. Mr. Chair, I was just wondering, if it's an option or something that the commission might want to consider, or the city wants to consider, instead of tabling till April, can you table until the city and the applicant have reached an agreement?
Well, we would hope that
So
that
we don't
happens.
each month?
We, based on comments from Ron about the closeness, I think April is probably appropriate. So,
Yeah.
There's no question, though, that particular development has been going on since, 2006 at least.
2006.
And, so, I mean, it needs to be resolved because that's a mess down there. So,
Thank you, sir.
okay. Okay, so the next item is presentation by Mr. Bain.
Did you ask
Minutes.
for old and new business?
Approval of minutes.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting out of
Oh, yeah,
order.
the old
Right,
business.
we need to do old business, which is the minutes. So, has the commission had a chance to review the minutes of 2/21/23?
Yeah.
Are there any changes?
I move we accept those minutes as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Second.
I don't believe I'm allowed to vote, I wasn't present.
Okay.
I seconded.
I'm sorry?
I seconded.
Okay. So we are Moved and seconded, all in favor of minutes? 3-0, okay. Now new business, I'm sorry.
The mic's not working. I'll just look at
Had some technical issues too.
it. Yeah, I can't. It's okay. Y'all will correct me if I'm wrong.
Now they, you want me to test? Testing, none of them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do this because I thought it was just gonna be the presentation.
Ron, is that mic working?
Yeah, unfortunately, none of our mics or the screens seem to be working for some reason. So I'm not really even sure if it's even being recorded. Are you sure it's even being recorded? Can they hear us? Yeah, that's a problem.
That's why I'm talking about the motions and
It's
stuff.
just
Oh.
a technicality.
Yeah, so she has to have the motions down, is what she's saying. She has to make sure that because there's no other way to go back unless we do it in the moment. So, but we can continue.
Okay, well, let's move on then to item B1. It's a presentation by Director John Bain. John, we're hoping to hear some great information tonight, so.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Appreciate you having me here today. I understand there had been discussion about the city sewer capacity on Highway 61
Yes.
from the interstate down. So I brought a map that I hope is, and it's a little, there's not much place markers here, but I'll try and show where we are. So this is the city sewer system. This is from on the I-61 corridor, south corridor. Here's the interstate, here's I-20, and here is 61 for reference, okay? So right here is Home Depot, and over here is Walmart in that area, to show you where we are, all right?
Yeah.
So the city's concern with the sewer in this area is as follows. The system in this corridor actually starts here at the Home Depot and flows by gravity, not along 61, but behind, on the west side of 61, all the way down to essentially the V-plex, okay? In this flow, there's a pump station that handles a set of townhomes right here, the Hickory Falls area.
Yeah.
There's a pump station that also pumps to the same gravity. Okay, now this is upstream in the collection system, so these lines are typically 8-inch sewer lines in this area because it's further up. And then typically you would upsize larger to 10, 12, 15 and on as it takes on more customers. So this is an 8-inch gravity sewer line here that covers Home Depot, this apartment complex, and now everything along the west side of the 61 corridor, which is Racetrack, Dunkin' Donuts, and on all the way down to the V-plex, okay? From there, it flows under 61 and into the Summergate subdivision. And it flows into a pump station that was built to handle Summergate. So Summergate, this area, handles all the flow from, essentially from Home Depot and the Sparkler complex, and everything on the east side comes down here and flows into the Summergate subdivision. And then it is pumped from Summergate to a pump station at the Bay Springs neighborhood, which was designed and built for Bay Springs. So now we've got a compounding problem. We have all the flow coming south, going under, at the V-plex, which is this area here, in Charleston Place, comes across into the Summergate subdivision, is then pumped up to the Bay Springs, or Club Bay, I should say, subdivision here. From there, it's pumped to an intermediate pump station along Bivens Road, which we call the Bivens Road Pump Station. From there, it pumps all the way up to behind Walmart. Okay, in addition to that, we have 2 pump stations at Augusta Woods that pumps into a parallel force main that also picks up pump stations at Twin Oaks. That's all tied in here. And you have another pump station in this neighborhood that pumps over to the same manhole behind Walmart. So all this flow from Home Depot all the way down the west side of 61, goes over, picks up all these neighborhoods on the east side of 61 and all the commercial property in and around Walmart, all these other areas, and they all collect at one manhole and flow in one 8-inch sewer line under the interstate.
Wow.
So imagine everything here in 61 flows into this 8-inch line that goes under the interstate.
Would not the best solution be to build a new treatment plant down here on the far south end of that tract?
Well, treatment plants in general are vastly more expensive than a lift station. So the general thought that we've had was build more of a regional lift station. We can turn some of these flows and actually redirect them south. Build one lift station that pumps up to this side, and then we can also capture some other areas. But since right now it's all flowing down one side and being
But-
pumped in multiple stages.
But John, with the growth that's already planned
Mhm.
for that area, are you realistically going to be able to create pipes and pumps, a system of pipes and pumps that will accommodate all this new growth and still take into account the fact that you have to pump all of that uphill and over the hill beyond I-20, really, to get it treated and everything, right?
Yes, actually, that's a good question. Actually, we believe we can. We've done several engineering studies.
Uh-huh.
We feel confident that we can accomplish that, and we can do it through a couple of smaller steps. For example, this pump station probably should have never been pumped into this line. This pump station could have been pumped right under the interstate here.
Right,
And taken all this flow, sent it immediately over the hill,
right.
so it doesn't start here, so it starts further down. Okay? And then down here, we believe if we build a regional lift station, we can redirect all of this by gravity back, let it flow this downhill
Uh-huh.
instead of uphill, pick up a station here that can take on some future development down here, which we don't feel we can currently take, primarily because of this one pinch point right here. But we believe we could take it all here, let this flow by gravity, and then pump it over the hill one time. And we also are doing work at our, what we call our west plant,
Uh-huh.
which is our large wastewater plant that's up on Industrial Court in the
Yeah.
industrial area. We're doing work there where we can take on some additional flows. Right now, we're running at about 50%, 40 to 45, 50% capacity, depending on the time of year. So we're between 40 and 50% capacity, so we have capacity.
That's at the west plant?
Yes, sir, that's at the
Okay.
west plant.
How is this going to affect the subdivision going in behind the high school on the side there, and any other property if those restaurants go in that they're talking about on 61? Is all of that going to be able to give enough water, and are the pipes big enough to pump water into all of those new areas?
Yeah, if there's new commercial property here, on this side of 61, that is tied into this line and flows down here, it would capture all of that before it gets across the road into these general stations. We can capture it all first and pump it over, so it doesn't impact all of these. And by doing that, we can take some of the flow requirements off of these existing. So we believe a lot of this we can keep as existing because it can handle that flow. What it can't handle is all this additional flow that's coming around.
Is there any thought to building another treatment plant?
We really haven't discussed that. We are in works. We already have 2 wastewater plants. We have one, what we call the North Plant, which is over off of Mirror Lake Parkway, just across from the dam of Mirror Lake. We have a small wastewater plant that's nearly at capacity now and will be past capacity as those developments build up there. So how we're accommodating that is we're designing and redirecting some lift stations that currently pump to that plant back to what we call our Cleghorn pump station, which is on Cleghorn Anderson, right behind where the Arbors townhomes are being built. We're going to redirect those flows to that station, which pumps to the west plant. So we'll add more capacity to the north plant, right? We'll be redirecting those lift stations so we can develop that future growth. But on this side, we feel like we've got to we're really hesitant to have any additional customers. Now, some small commercial customers might be manageable, but we know that we have a problem primarily right here and with all these lift stations that pump kind of in a daisy chain fashion, if you will, because every one of these lift stations are at or beyond capacity, in our opinion.
Well, that's why we turned down was it the Highlands or whatever, the development around,
Yes, we
Vplex.
we don't feel like we have the capacity. When
What
it
are
comes to large residential developments, that is, significantly more capacity generally than a small commercial. If, a large industrial would be a different situation.
what on earth would we have done if Avamore would have continued?
Well, at the first, we had only, part of the plan of Avamore's build out would be to build a regional lift station. That was a part of the long-term plan. Had they built that out, part of that would have been a lift station.
Okay.
So, because we couldn't handle all of Avamore, unfortunately. So that was part of our conversation with them, is we don't have enough sewer capacity. In order for you to continue your build out, we're gonna need to deal with a lift station to handle this.
Now, how many years are we talking about to do this?
To be honest, sir, I hate to even guess. It's not anything that's gonna happen in my opinion, in a year or two. This is a long-term project, but I'd be hesitant to put a number to it.
We've been talking about 3 years. Is that realistic?
It'd be close, I think. It'd be tough, but that's not to say it can't be done.
Okay. So we're a long way from being able to
Yeah.
handle new developments south on
In
61.
our opinion, yes.
Yeah.
The manner in which this is currently constructed. Yes.
What about water?
We're pretty confident that we can supply water to this area. We have the tank right behind the Quick Trip, that large tank, Hickory level tank right there near Walmart. That flows into a separate system that handles all of this, and we have a Carrollton Road tank that handles the pressure in this area. We feel good about where we are in terms of water capacity in this area.
Okay.
Water capacity to the city as a whole, we're looking long-term at some concerns on water supply, so we're talking about future water supply and how we can manage that. As we know, we're purchasing water every day from Carroll County, and we've just entered into an agreement with Douglas County to help us with that.
But that's a relatively small amount of water with Douglas County.
Yes, sir. There it is. Yes, sir.
And come 2025, when we have to renegotiate with Carroll County,
Correct.
it's going to be serious business.
Correct.
So,
Mr. Bain, what you're describing about rerouting the pumps, is that, and I think you've mentioned this, but I'm not sure, is that still utilizing the 8-inch line? Or is it something where you're gonna still need 10, 12, or 15?
In some cases, we will have to upsize the existing lines.
Okay. Do you
Yes.
have any idea that you could show us on here, like how many, the distance, or how much we're actually talking about, what area we're talking about, how long that would take?
Yeah, I don't have those detailed engineering plans with me to that level. What we're looking at, the primary place would be where we upsize is generally down here where we can redirect some flows.
Okay.
If we could redirect from here by gravity to here, we'd probably put in a larger line, something more like a 12, or even larger. From here down to, if we install this station, it would be a larger line certainly. But if we can redirect some of these flows, this we feel like can handle existing.
And do
And
you see
stop
that,
it here,
oh, excuse me, and do you see that as in stages, like rerouting can be one stage, and upgrading the size of the sewer line another stage, or those being done in tandem together?
They're gonna have to be done pretty close to tandem to well, at least I'll say this, we won't achieve what we wanna achieve until it's all complete.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get through it all to get where we wanna be.
Otherwise, it's my phrase, my term, Band-Aid.
Sure, yeah. Once we get the lift station installed, and we can take some of the flow off, then we probably have a little flexibility there.
Yeah.
Where we can open up some opportunities. But we have to, I think in my opinion, we're just concerned with any additional large residential components tying into this existing line. Because again, it's all about right here and the demand on all these stations coming up here.
What about the 8-inch pipe there? I'm concerned about the 8 inches. You're gonna have to make it a lot bigger than that.
Well, our thought is if we can redirect all of this flow off of it, then we're okay.
Okay.
But we need to take all this off. We did install what we call a relief sewer. This was installed prior to my arrival, I believe about 3 years ago. On the north side, there was one manhole on the north side of I-20. We installed a second line at that manhole heading in westward direction rather than just the north to accommodate the flows coming into that manhole. So we essentially split it in half to divert it 2 different directions, then it all meets back up near City Hall and makes its way to the sewer plant from there.
Now, any of this planned to be directed to the north plant?
No, we want all of this to make its way to the west plant.
I'm sorry, the west plant,
Yes,
not the
sir.
north.
Yeah, all this will make its way to the west plant.
Okay, okay.
And then we're redirecting Shoreline Lift Station on Shoreline Parkway to the west plant. And eventually, likely another lift station as well, to get the north plant flows down where we can accommodate future growth there.
Now, I don't think we have any plans for additional development now that Avamore is closed down, and we've stopped the Highlands, or whatever it is, at the V-Plex. I don't think there's any more development, is there, that's being considered along 61? Around
west
Bay
side.
Springs, or,
No, just the one that was surrounding.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're probably okay for now, so. But we're not gonna be able to consider anything either, so,
Right, I think that's the biggest
yeah,
part of this.
good. Very good, John.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, my pleasure. Thank
Any
you for having
further
me.
questions that the
No,
commission
thank
has
you.
for
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Bain?
No, thank you.
All right.
Very good,
Thank you.
appreciate it, appreciate it. Okay. Next item on the agenda, Ron, is the revision of the zoning ordinance.
Well, don't we have to mention item 2?
No,
No, it's
that's been moved.
Well, I know, but just don't we have to mention for the minutes that we've moved it?
It has to have a separate vote, yeah.
We
You-
do, all right,
That's right.
all right, item 2, Ron, you wanna
Sure.
do that?
Are you gonna speak about item 2?
I just was gonna announce it, just, it's RA-07-22, Artisan Crossings, a rezoning from I-2 to C1.
Yeah.
Looking to have this one, tabled to April 18th.
Yeah,
meeting.
based on staff's recommendation, I move that we table that to April
On the
18th.
request of the applicant. Not that it's on, but.
Yeah, only request of the applicant.
What?
On request of the applicant.
Oh, request of the applicant, yeah.
Is there a second? Moved,
You
Is
second?
it okay if I
He
just
seconded.
ask,
Oh.
no, wait till we get the motion. Is there a second?
I thought Doug had seconded, didn't
No,
he?
he didn't second.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, further discussion? Go ahead.
just a couple quick questions if I
Go ahead.
may.
Sure.
Is the only, it's just a couple corner lots in question, not where the forgive me, but I just gotta get caught up. The 400,000 square foot cross dock, is that a separate owner, separate
That's right,
deal?
yes.
Is that approved or pending or?
That one was already zoned for that activity, so they are, at this point, they just need to submit for plans, basically plan review.
So that's probably going to happen either way.
Right.
And what you sent us today is that Artisan, the owner of the, it says 2 lots, but I guess 2 were combined, 2 or 3 lots.
It's like essentially 3 lots
Three
now,
lots.
yeah.
Those are, there's some serious consideration for selling those for either industrial or retail, to potential buyers, is that correct?
For commercial, I believe it's the same buyer.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be one for the commercial and one for the industrial.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Okay, I guess we have to
Thank
do
you.
the same thing for Liberty Point then.
Yes, that's right. So this is for Liberty Point Phase, well, it says Phase 5, but it is for the entire development. But it's a request for an alteration to an existing Plan Unit Development to adopt a revised concept plan. So the applicant is requesting to have this one moved to April 18th meeting as well.
I have a motion to move the item B3.
I move we table, that in accordance with the recommendation of staff, we table that item to the April meeting.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any further discussion by the commission? If not, a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. All right, now we're ready for the zoning ordinance.
All right, well, not so fast. We actually are going to be requesting this one as well to be moved to the April meeting.
Really?
Yeah, you know, I guess you could say our department was pretty inundated by all the plan review for all of the different projects that we have going on right now. So we had at least eight or so different plan reviews come in all at once. So we haven't exactly had much time to navigate into chapters 3 and chapters 4 of the ordinance, but the chapter 3 is about non-conformities. So I did review that section already from top to bottom, and there's maybe one change that I would like to make it clearer for new businesses when they want to move into a place, or when there's a change of use and our ordinance is triggered. We need to kind of better clarify what happens in those instances if it's a non-conformity. And then chapter 4 of the ordinance is it's like the heart of the ordinance. That's everything. That's all your zoning districts, you know, R1, R2, all the way through industrial, and how they function. So what they look like, you know, heights, setbacks, all those different things. So if there's anything that really jumps out to any of you as well for those 2 chapters, you can always email me, and of course I can, you know, put that into the discussions when we do have them. But we are looking to make just those changes to those 2 chapters. But chapter 4 is just one we can't mess up, right? It's one that we have to get right off the bat. So it's going to take some more time. So I didn't feel comfortable moving forward today until until we have adequate time.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move this particular item at staff's recommendation to table it to our next meeting so that we have a chance to go over 3 and 4 in more detail.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, and I guess we've got to do the same to the next one.
We sure do,
I
yes.
think you showed up, John. That's all I can say.
Believe it or not, we are getting a lot of work done in the office. I assure you we are. But yeah, we also have another one that we need to move to the next meeting. This is kind of like a floating item. You know, it's kind of the basics of what we kind of do here on the commission. Just also some of our you know, what's kind of the best practices and planning commissions and the like. So I thought it would be useful if we do have those, but definitely at the next meeting I think would make more sense if we have time, because it looks like it's already going to be kind of loaded.
Okay,
So
I'll entertain a motion to move this on.
Make a motion to table till next meeting and
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Ron, staff
okay.
comments.
So a little bit busy here. This month we had a lot of, like I was saying, a lot of plan review. Fuqua's project, one of their out parcels. We've had Wayne Davis's training facility. I'm sure you guys remember that one. That was a rezoning, I believe, from last year or maybe even 2021. But we're just getting a lot of them that have come in for rezonings in 21 and 22 that are now looking to go vertical. So we ended up getting a lot of them in. I kid you not, like it must have been all within a matter of a few days of one another. So it was just like we were inundated with that, plus some of these other different things that are going through, as well as some more applications that we've received that'll be coming to the Planning Commission as well. So you know, we have everything from a small residential rezoning to, you know, for a single house, or 2 houses, I believe it may be, to a large, much larger mixed-use style development. So we have a lot going on. So we're looking to have them, I believe all 3 of our new projects that have applied, I believe at the next meeting, the April meeting. So it's those 3, it would be those 3 plus the things that we moved tonight. So we're gonna have a packed April agenda
meeting in
again,
April.
yeah.
Now, I've been trying to connect to the Zoom meetings on Thursday, and that's been unsuccessful. Then I got a note that said those are only to be personnel present, not Zoom. Is that correct?
It is a Zoom meeting for sure. But we had, the first time we didn't have anybody. They ended up canceling, and the second time we did have somebody for all of maybe 3 minutes. It was the gentleman Luis Castro that came in, but that was maybe all of 3 minutes. So by the time we were even gonna set up the Zoom, he only really had only a few questions, and we realized that there was, much more that is involved with this one, that we couldn't get involved in that one that day. So
Is there anything scheduled for this Thursday?
let me see.
I would think based on what you just said about new stuff coming up in April, there ought to be some activity.
Let's see. Let's see what we have. No, I don't have anyone scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's scheduled yet. The ones that we had already, the ones that we've already, I believe it was 3 total that we already had. Those were ones from the. I want to say that was from March 2nd. Yeah. Yeah, they were from March 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it here.
So nothing on
We
Thursday?
haven't had anything since then, though.
Okay.
Nothing
Okay.
new.
Because again, I'd like to,
Sit in on
sit in
those.
on some of those, so,
Mhm.
okay. Anything else?
Sure.
I'm just going to give you a brief update on where we're at on some of our projects
Good.
that are filtering through. We have Pembridge Place, which is on Industrial, the townhomes there. They've got their streets in, so they're applying for model permits. So we'll start seeing some vertical action out there at Pembridge Place. Hickory Level Townhomes have most of their infrastructure in already, so they're looking to pull a permit also for their models. They can put up one. We're going to let them do one building there before they actually finish up their street, as long as they have the fire hydrant in and they're based down.
Who is that?
It's Hickory Level Townhomes, right there on the right after you turn on the Hickory Level.
Okay.
Alta Villarica, which is the apartments right there behind the hotel, right by 20. We've got their civils in, reviewing them. Talked to the builder at South Harbor 2. Activities picking back up a little bit there. They've got some pre-sales on the lake there, so we're starting to see some activity back in the higher end market. Wayne Davis Training Center, which Ron mentioned already, we have the civils in on them, and that's on 78 West. Arbors have all but one building that's went vertical. Some of the first ones that they started constructing are in drywall stage. So late summer, early fall, we'll probably be getting close for COs on them. Connors Landing has their base in, waiting to pave. They failed their, I believe it was them that failed their proof roll, so they're having to do some more compacting out there, and then they'll be putting their streets in, and that's Connor's Landing down at the end towards the right, for, single-family detached. Starlight Homes, which is close to the Dairy Queen, has civils in, but not a whole lot of activity right there right now on them townhomes. Water Mist, has their civils in. Pulte Homes, is that right, Ron? Pulte's doing them. Northwoods 2 and 3 has their LDPs, so waiting on them to start grading. Flex TC has some of their buildings up, starting on their office, which is in the last development there in our industrial park. So we're probably looking at midsummer for them to get a CO on them. The 50-acre site that's at the end of Punkintown on the north side that our company called RPET has been putting together for the TAD there. They are getting close to submitting their civils. It's commercial and senior living also, kind of a mixed use part of the TAD
That,
there.
is that the cut through from,
Yes.
Punkintown to,
To the
61.
roundabout. Yes, sir. Yep. They're
Yeah,
gonna
next
be-
to the, or near the
Yeah.
dollar store.
Yeah, so they're gonna actually build that section of street for the
Uh-huh.
city as part of their development agreement.
now is that gonna be separate from the Punkintown Road development?
Yes, so that, my understanding, so when you're coming down Punkintown from Mirror Lake, we're gonna, the part that's gonna redirect to the new roundabout will go through RPET's development, and they're gonna pay for the street of that section, which takes some burden off the city on that whole Punkintown renewal, or road renewal.
I don't remember our considering that as a development.
They haven't came through here yet. They're still in the concept. They'll be submitting their stuff soon. We'll have a pre-submittal meeting with them probably in the next month or two, and bring it to the planning commission.
Because again, all that's gonna add to making Punkintown the former East Loop.
Yeah, that's out of my
Well,
pay grade there, but I'm just gonna get
but
to
that was adamantly opposed
Yeah.
when it was called the East Loop.
Mhm. Inline Reed Road, civils on the townhomes on Reed Road. Have you heard any where we're at on them civils?
No, they haven't,
It's been a bit,
submitted-
hasn't
well, they were actually waiting on us for the preliminary plan,
it? Okay. All right.
yeah, but we're still working that out, the standard position.
Okay. Yes. All right. Got you. So a little progress there. ServPro, big building on Bankhead Highway or Veterans Memorial Highway, are operating under a TCO. They have a lot of landscape issues that Ron's working out with them. They're getting close of getting all them issues lined up and finishing up their landscape. Once they get everything complete, then they will give them the permanent CO on that one. And of course, Ron already talked about the Fuquay. It's moving right along with the civil end of the.
Tracy, is any of this documented that could be distributed to the commission?
Yeah, I mean, I would think we could get a whole report sent over, don't you, Ron? I mean, kind of where we're at on these things.
Oh, on the individual.
I mean,
I don't know how.
we probably get 70, 80 emails per project going back and forth, right? Them working out their end and matching up with us, so, I mean,
We, cause I deny things, mostly, more times than not.
Mr. Denial.
Denying things, so.
Or just something, it's nice to hear this summary of where things stand.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see it documented, because I'm,
So you
Sure
think we
that-
could get
I
maybe
can
a
get you
bullet point
yeah, right.
of the name,
Yeah, like I can do
location,
that, yeah.
status?
I would appreciate that.
Okay,
I would
all right.
appreciate that.
Yes, that would be very helpful because while you're reading them, I'm visualizing where they are,
Right, yeah.
but remembering them.
Yeah, I'll try to get a bullet point for every meeting, kind of where everything's at.
Okay.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
Okay?
And then document what you just presented would be great.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, and that's all I've got.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ron, that you have?
No, I didn't have anything else
Okay.
for this evening.
Well, if not, let me open the meeting to public comments. If anybody would like to share some comments, pro or con or whatever, now's the time to do it. So, give us your name and address,
That's
and
because she signed in.
My name is Cantina Coast. I'm on the HOA board at Liberty Point. I just have a couple of concerns, and I guess a lot of us are from Liberty Point, and there's some things we don't quite understand. We've been going back and forth with the developer. We just started the HOA in December. Before then, it was in his hands because it had to be 75%. I guess all the yes, which it has been. So we were able to, with him, to create the board. 3/4 of the members are here from the board. Our issue we've been going back and forth. We have, and there's a lot of things he still have not handed over to us. So we're kind of still in the blind. So I'm at phase 4, the end of phase 4. We're done, and I know he's trying to get phase 5 into development, and there's some issues with phase 5. I don't understand the whole point of him everything keeps getting pushed back. Because it seems like that's a pattern with him, that every time that has been ongoing with him. He's pushing everything. He's supposed to be here today. That is what he told us. He was going to be here so he can speak. He's not here. And, at the last minute, we're getting things that, he's pushing us around. He's not giving us the information we need. As far as the board, we have, from what we can. We got the management company, which is, half the people in the development didn't even know there was an HOA community. So they're reluctant to even paying the HOA fees. So we're having to fight with the people, that live there, the homeowners. We're fighting with him. We want the community that we're in that, to mean something. There are things there that we feel should already have been there. The landscaping is horrible. The landscape is absolutely horrible. By the retention pond, Connors Road, we're supposed to have a sidewalk. As you go down Mirror Lake and you're looking at the other homes and you look at ours, it's different. It's an eyesore. And it's sad, honestly. The sign, we have to fight for a sign. He's telling us one thing, I guess he's supposed to got the sign, he put it in the budget for the sign. There's no sign, the landscaping, like you said, the retention pond, everything is just a mess. I don't understand why he should even be able, right now, I think everything should be denied for him. That's just my opinion, until he does what he does for the other phases. I don't even think he should even go ahead with phase 4. Honestly, to be honest, I just want to, I don't know if it's a control thing with him. If he wants to stay there, because like I said, he has not handed over the finances at all. We're still fighting with him with the finances. He's, everything we do, he has to have his hand in it. I've spoken to other people that I know, and they was like, they've never, ever, they don't understand the control with him at all. He's just been lying to us. And we're just we don't know what to do at this point. We just want what's right. Just like everyone, we're all homeowners. We just want what's right. We want our development to look like the other developments. Mirror Lake is a nice area. If you go down Mirror Lake, there's no street. A lot of people don't even know. They'll pass by our subdivision because they're looking like, where are you guys at? When we had the meeting with you guys, a couple of the, I think his lawyer or so, they passed, they was like, even they had problems finding out where we are. And I was like, that's a little sad. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look good. We just want this to be resolved. It honestly, being a new HOA, and from him saying that he's been taking care of it, we should have just just eased on in there and just, took over. We should not be having to fight, fight him. So my thing is, next month, will it be the same thing? What he's saying, okay, he can't be here, or, you're pushing it back to May. I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing thing with him. I think that's mostly our concern. Will this be an ongoing thing,
Well, the problem is, this goes back many, many years. And there's been so much of that other commissions and the council have already approved.
Yeah.
And, that's where we're stuck, because the previous things have been approved and not done. But it's been approved. Where do you start? Now, until the HOA takes over, he is still going to be in control. It's his development.
And see, that's where I think, that's where that gray area, because December, we officially have an HOA board. So I guess that's the gray area with us. We're still trying to because he's still, as far as towing, he wants to be, and I get it, So at what point is the HOA, are we really in there? We have an HOA, we're official, we have a management company that's taken, that's taken over, they're doing a great job. So at what point do we have a voice? The HOA.
Who is your management company?
It's Premier Management Company?
Out of Chapel Hill?
Yes.
It's the same one that Mirror Lake has.
Yes, yep.
And the Mirror Lake HOA is got problems.
It's his.
Yeah.
Since you're already official, have any of you on the board developed an action plan and given it to him and said, this is our action plan? And have you maybe taken the responsibility to say, this person is going to be in charge of this person is going to be in charge of that? Maybe the man needs to have more direction. And I would guess that you need to actually draw up and write up an action plan with the names of the people who are going to be doing those particular things.
Right, so he was actually there when we did do the vote. Like I said, I'm the vice president. The president is not here. We do have a secretary and the treasurer here as well. So we're all, we talk to him all the time, and he do know what our roles are and, how involved we are.
But your role is going to be different than drawing up an action plan. Put up an action plan. By this date, this is what we're going to do. If you give a timeline and you say, this is what we're going to do by this date, and then by this date, you actually have an action plan. Your role is already given to you. Mm-hmm. But you want to draw up an action plan where this person can actually see what you're planning on doing and either approve or disapprove. But at least with an action plan, you've got something written and not just loud talk.
Okay, well, that is something that we will definitely, that way we can have the documentation to back up what we're saying. Yeah, okay.
But again, there still is this guy who is responsible over and above the HOA.
Right.
And, until the whole thing is turned over. What's the word? What do you call the guy that's not an arbiter? He's
Declarant?
declarant.
Exactly, yeah.
He is the declarant of that property, and will be.
So will that be that is basically when phase 5 is complete? Is that when he completely will be done? I'm assuming when these with the okay.
Yeah, Tom.
We sympathize with you
Right.
because we also are at the mercy of the developers and property owners. We can't go out and say, okay, make sure you got this application into us, 2 weeks from now. Because we have to wait for them to put together what they are going to propose so that we can work on it. And it's frustrating to us to have a particular application postponed 3 or 4 or 5 times, or for us to do the work and approve something, and then 3 months later have them come back with a huge book full of amendments or changes. So I'd say we sympathize with you, but we cannot, I haven't found a way yet to be able to go out and force these people to be more timely, in It's like, it's not like we're the teacher, we could say, well, you have to hand in your homework tomorrow.
Right.
So we're kind of at their mercy.
I think that's definitely something that, that the plan of action.
Yeah.
We'll, hopefully we'll just get somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, well,
Thanks.
thank you, Butch. Thank you for coming out tonight. Sorry that things got pushed back. It may happen yet again, we don't know, so. Any other comments that anybody would like to make? Any comments from the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Second? All in favor? We are adjourned. Well, it took longer than I thought, 6:54.
I guess we'll wait till next month.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a shame that they're using the same people that we're using, Mirror Lake.
Make sure I got this right.
Yes, let us know what you need.
Just to double check, the motion to adopt the agenda, do y'all remember who was first and second?
I think I made the motion, and I think Dr. Mims seconded it.
Thank you. And then who was the one to motion the minutes? I got Nancy as a second.
I think I motioned for the minutes to be accepted also.
Okay,
All right.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Actually, I was thinking that, and I'm like, I'm undecided at this point what I'm doing. But go ahead, fire away. As long as you allow me to put my update.
You too, buddy.
Stuff.